before we put a bow on this thing, is there any bit of a story that you want to continue, or do you want to start a new one? Might we get a story time for today's episode?
Eddie, play us some music for this story time. It's funny that you should say that, because this is a continuation.
Oh, okay.
This is a story we've covered before, and I got a little bonus at the end. On December 1st, 1964, during a brief break in their schedule before the Christmas shows, they did another run of Christmas shows at the end of 1964. We'll talk about that. Ringo checked into a London hospital to get his tonsils removed once and for all. As you might recall, he had an infection due to his tonsils, and that caused him to pass out and miss half of their world tour. We had talked about that previously.
I do remember.
And this is the follow-up to that. He just is like, get him out of there. And, you know, you could even maybe predict that any of the vocal patterns, like on this song, were probably affected by his tonsils. You know, it's like they were just too much in the way. He couldn't deliver the song the right way. So they gotta go.
See ya.
There was a press conference when he arrived at this hospital. You know, I think it's interesting. There's always a press conference, no matter what the Beatles are doing. But this one seems to be like the weirdest one to me. It's like, we're trying to go to the hospital to get my tonsils removed. And so I have to like talk to the press for like 15 minutes before I do that. Now, I saw video of this, like from news organizations that filmed it. It appeared that Wilfred Bramble was there, the guy who played Grandfather.
Oh, wow. Okay. They really did have a connection.
Hello, Grandfather.
Maybe that was another thing I saw. I'm sure someone would be helpful and maybe point out what I saw, or that might not have been Wilfred Bramble and I was confused, but that just was the weirdest thing about this whole story for me. It's like, why is this actor there when he's getting his tonsils out? But anyway, I don't know. Yeah, I guess they're friends. Go check our Hard Day's Night film, because Peter has a whole theory about that. But that, you know.
I do.
Here, he was asked multiple times to show his tonsils, which he dutifully did. It's my favorite photo session of any Beatles, certainly around this time. But I posted it to our Instagram once. I'm going to post more this time, but it looks inappropriate. He talks about like the TV and different music he's going to listen to. Like he has a TV brought in. He's got all these records. He specifically said Bob Dylan first. Then he said the Supremes, James Brown, Yusuf Lateef, and Chico Hamilton. I don't know, had to call that out, that he name dropped Yusuf Lateef and Chico Hamilton. Anyway, so on December 2nd, his tonsils came on out of there.
Yeah.
And George visited on December 8th. They did a publicity photo shoot for that. There's like a lot of photos of George looking in Ringo's mouth, you know, like a doctor and all that stuff you might have seen. And then apparently Paul visited December 9th. I don't believe there's any photos of that. Where was John? Like, come on. He did not show.
No?
We know Maureen was there every day, and George visits, Paul's visits, but John didn't. You know, he got better things to do.
Well, they also see each other every day.
Yeah, but he could have died.
When you put it that way.
I mean, this is 1964. We're not talking about, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
Invasive surgery like that is
You're right.
I'm sure the fatality rate is low for that type of surgery, but it's just, you know. Anyway, he was in the hospital for 10 days. Again, 1964. Can you imagine getting your tonsils out being a 10-day hospital stay nowadays?
That's pretty crazy.
He got a lot of spins out of that Yusuf Lateef. After 10 days when he was leaving, there was an impromptu press conference that he was leaving. The exact moment he left was not announced because everyone in London would have arrived, but there was some people that were hanging around just waiting. They caught him. They asked if George Harrison was married, because apparently that was the rumor going around at the time. And he said he knew he wasn't because George visited him a few days ago and told him he wasn't married.
What do you think about this rumor of George being married?
He's not married because he came in to see me and he told me.
How do you know he's not married? Oh, because he just told me.
He told me. He told me he wasn't a lot of things. It was a long list.
Oh, dude.
Anyway, he's getting carted off, and then he goes, to make it even better, he says, he's not married. None of us are.
Believe me, he's not married. None of us are.
John's been married since mid-1962.
He told me I wasn't married either. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just what he said.
I didn't know if I was married, but John told me I wasn't. And I think I saw Wilfred Bramble again for some reason. I don't know. I guess they're friends now. But
Oh, gosh.
oh, my goodness. Anyway, that's the tale of his tonsils. No more infections. No more bad singing from Ringo. It's only clear skies moving forward. So now we're going to talk about Ringo for president.
Bonus.
So I had mentioned this earlier, but we've talked about before that of the four members of the Beatles, for whatever reason, Ringo really had a lot of fans. You know, everyone obviously loved all the Beatles at various times. You know, people were definitely screaming about Paul and all that stuff, for sure. But that scene in A Hard Day's Night where it appears that he hasn't gotten any fan mail, but then there's a whole separate load just for Ringo. That was kind of based on reality. Like, he just had a ton of fans for whatever reason. This resulted in America in a Ringo for President campaign. So in 1964, there's a campaign between Lyndon Johnson and Barry Goldwater. So this is, after JFK was shot, Lyndon Johnson becomes the president temporarily, and this is the new campaign for the next one. So have you heard about that race in any way?
Not that I remember, but you probably told me something about this once.
I don't know, just a huge moment. Just to compare to current political climates in America, Lyndon Johnson won 486 electoral votes to 52.
Got you.
So if that happened these days, that would be crazy. Anyway, seems to have started in Ohio, where a radio station in Cleveland urged people to hold rallies and petitions for Ringo. I don't know why, but okay. Everyone needs a meme, I guess.
Yeah.
There was buttons made. There was bumper stickers, which the originals go for a huge amount of money on eBay. I'm sure there's replicas of that. I think that would be fun to have, but I wouldn't want to pony up the money. And another candidate for the presidential race, William Scranton, had a rally in San Francisco where over 200 teenagers demonstrated in support of Ringo during that time. So he's just trying to do his own campaign, and then 200 teenagers came and crashed the event saying Ringo for president. And during the US tour, which we just talked about, many fans would chant Ringo for president. Despite this, Epstein prevented them from speaking about it at the press conferences. So they were asked about it, or it was, brought up in various ways, and they just had to move on. They didn't have to comment whether it was funny or whatever. They just was like, no comment on Ringo running for president in America. You British citizen. Commentary suggests that young people were protesting the fact that their two candidates didn't represent the young vote. Lyndon Johnson and Barry Goldwater were out of touch. And so a protest that people actually were getting behind was that Ringo for president was not obviously a realistic thing, but more of a commentary, like more of a protest, and saying, we don't even want the candidates we have. We'd rather have Ringo.
Yeah.
There was a song released called Ringo for President.
Oh, no.
Sung by the Young World Singers, released on Decca, of all places. And it mentions that he is an ideal candidate because he, quote, doesn't talk about war. This song got to number 132 on the Billboard.
Oh, good.
So not top 100, but I mean, still dangerously close to being notable.
Yeah.
And Rolf Harris covered it, of all people. He was actually the compere for the Last Christmas show. 1963, he had some problematic songs, Australian comedian. Anyway, he covered it, and this is what it sounds like.
At least they're acknowledging that he's not eligible to run for president. I mean, if I could vote. I mean, maybe it's because they're kids and they can't vote too.
I was going to say, that's probably because they're 14.
But yeah, it's not possible. But if
I could vote, I'd vote for Ringo, or if I could vote for Ringo?
I'd vote for Ringo.
Some voted for him as a write-in candidate. Ringo, officially an American in the records of American elections, Ringo Starr, or potentially Richard Starkey, is on some official ballots that were cast, but he obviously didn't make a dent in the result. Less than 0.02% of the popular vote, but he was there, and that's something. Ringo,
it counts for something. Counts for nothing. He can't even be elected.
It counts for something, please. It's a protest.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least he's got a strong platform.
What is the platform?
I'm warning you with peace and love.
All right, let's put a bow on this one.
Honey, don't.